Hey guys, Constantine again. I'm going to be going right in to the second game of, hopefully that helps with my sound a little bit, I turned it up. Second game of this match between FruitSeller and the STC. It's actually been about a day and a half since I cast the first one, so all I remember there was a lot of Marine Marauder and Zergage. And it was a pretty crazy game, and I actually had trouble keeping up with it because that was the very first pro game I've ever cast. And it's a new map, so I wasn't all that aware of what was going on. Anyway, we're going to be spawning in here on Metalopolis, and I'm going to be awesome and put the unit status bars back where they need to be, and my sound looks good. Alright. And so we're going to have, once again, FruitSeller, the blah 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 of Korean text, spawning in as the red Zerg at the 3 o'clock position, and the STC spawning in as the green Terran on the 9 o'clock position. So I've been playing a lot of ladder recently, but I've been avoiding the 1v1s because they're so damn stressful. Once again, there's some Korean lingo going down there. We have FruitSeller moving his Overlord here, trying to get the scout. He's going to see that his opponent isn't right here, and it's going to make him scared that he might be right here. Whenever you're Terran versus Zerg in this map and you spawn in close positions, the close positions being the ones that you don't have to go across map to get to, because this position here is pretty far away because you have to go all the way around, and this one's far away obviously because it's on the other side of the map. But these two are very close together, and so are these two. And that's really bad for Zerg because it prevents them from being able to expand past their natural safely, and it also prevents them from just being far away from the Terran when he starts, and it allows Terran to have a lot of early aggression. So we have the FruitSeller here droning up pretty hard. He's not going to be doing any kind of cheese early. We have Terran player STC throwing down his barracks at about 12. It's good timing. Generally want to be always building workers with Terran and Protoss. With Zerg it's a little more questionable. That's why I think Zerg is probably the hardest race to play, just because knowing when to build workers with Zerg is so hard, because you have all those larvae, and they look so wonderful when they turn into Zerglings, and you can't really tell exactly when, and you can't just constantly build drones and then get units outside of that the way that Terran and Protoss do. So it's a little harder. So we have the SCC throw down a really quick tech lab. What he did there is he built the barracks on 12, and then he did not build any more SCVs. He waited till he got 75 gas or 75 minerals, and he threw down his gas immediately, and then continued building SCVs. Use about 10 seconds on an SCV production, but it actually allows you to get that tech lab out with 25 gas the moment this barracks finishes, and that's really good. Of course, he didn't do that at all, I don't think. No, he did do that. Okay, good. I'm not entirely retarded. Because a lot of Terrans, what they do is they delay that gas a little bit so they never stop SCV production, and that's good too. That's pretty much the standard build. This one's essentially to get a quick Reaper out, because when this tech lab finishes, if you've done the same thing with the gas, you'll have exactly 50 gas, and then you can build a Reaper. And then when the Reaper's finished, you usually have just enough to build another. So we have the SCC building a second Reaper. He's moving this one out across the map. He's going to walk by those watchtowers. I don't know if he's going to be able to see this or not with the positioning of that Overlord. It's a great spot for Overlords. You can see both the high yields, and he must have seen that Reaper, because you can see he's moving this Overlord now to scout over here, which means that he knows that he built a quick Reaper, and he's probably going to try and do some kind of bunker harass to prevent this hatchery from going down. And because he built that Reaper, he knows that he can get in here with this Overlord and see there's going to be no Marines in any kind of position. And as I'm watching this, I'm realizing that I have seen this game before somewhere. I think I saw someone else cast it before. It's still a great game, and for those of you that haven't seen it, we should definitely continue on this journey of watching it. But yes, I have seen it before, and it was hinted to me that this was the case whenever saw this Overlord flying here, because I remember a game recently. So apparently, it actually wasn't the STC. It wasn't the guy who was playing, because the games that I watched, I've never seen FruitSeller before. Anyway, back to the game. We have him throwing down a factory right on that tech lab. That's going to give away a little bit of the fact that he's trying to get some early tanks out, or maybe an early Thor. He's going to barely save that Reaper up that ledge. Now that this bunker is down, if he can get this Reaper in that bunker, this command center is going to be completely safe. It is, however, it did lose that few seconds of production that would have allowed it to get up quicker and maybe start an orbital command. Now he's going to have to send this SCV down to start it again. So he's really playing this close to the the wire here. I don't know exactly the term to say for that, but with only a single Reaper as the only unit he has in a bunker, if any kind of aggression had really come besides just a few Zerglings, he'd have been in trouble. But he was in the base, and he did see the fast expansion. He almost tried to block it with this bunker that's here now and completely worthless. We look to see him salvage that as soon as any kind of pressure goes on it. As of right now, he can just see whether the gases are going up, and that's important because it'll tell him whether or not a spire is going down. And as we can see, there is no spire going down. There's a Roach Warren and a Baneling's Nest. This is an interesting play. Usually you either see a Baneling's Nest or a Roach Warren. But I do like this because Banelings counter the Marines, and Roach's biggest problem is honestly getting into a base. And so if you kind of combine those two together, you can do a really good job against against Reapers and Marines. And they're also those Hellions coming out are going to be completely shut down by any kind of Roach play. Of course, the Roaches need to have speed in order to really deal with Hellions on a map like Metalopolis. I'd like to see some kind of defenses going around on all sides. This Queen positioning in this hatchery right here, which is an interesting play, it kind of shows how defensive-minded he is. Most Zerg players, not really at this point, a little bit later, would be throwing that hatchery down right here, especially when they're on opposite sides of the map, and you can get this nice little crescent that's pretty safe to anything as long as you control this area here. But he's going to be moving out with a couple Hellions. He has Infernal Pre-Igniter already researched, which is pretty interesting to get Hellions out of just a tech lab factory. So, and these Banelings are going to get spotted, and it's going to ruin that little surprise going down. See how he has great control here, pulling these back. This is honestly the key to the difference between a good player and a medium level player. A medium level player will see, oh, there's Banelings there, I gotta control my Hellions and try and kill them. But they won't think I gotta control my Hellions and control these workers and move them away at the same time. And that's the stuff where your APM really helps you. But it's not just that. You don't really need high APM to do that. You only really need like 100 APM, and that's in bursts, not like in your average, to deal with stuff like that. You just have to be, aware of what's going on and react quickly. So I would say that APM really isn't the biggest deal in this game. It was more so in StarCraft 1 when you had worries about not being able to select that many units. Oh, we have some Hellions sneaking in the back here. Like I said, we need some better defenses on this side. Maybe just a single spine crawler right here would be really nice. Of course, I am cheating, and I remember someone else in the casting that game saying he should put a spine crawler there. But either way, FruitSeller is going to actually save most of his drones, which is great. Haven't really seen too many workers go down. I saw one go down to that group of Banelings. Not the greatest trade when you have 7 or so Banelings and you get one worker. But anyway, this game's looking like it's going to be going into the mid-game. It looks like still going to be Roaches, and he's now getting the Glial Reconstitution. Wow, the Zerg upgrades are just so ridiculous. They were just like, let's make things that you can't pronounce, and then let's see what they say. Anyway, so, a big transition out of STC. He's throwing